maybe we'll ask everybody at the beginning of the meeting here just to hold your questions till the end. We'll open it up to the room. Anybody who has any comments or questions, feel free to ask them at the end of the meeting. If you're not comfortable speaking in front of everybody, you're more than welcome to email myself or Craig after the meeting, and we will record everything on the presentation so that you can share it with your colleagues. Yeah, with that, I'll maybe kick off the presentation portion and talk a little bit more here. I'm just trying to figure out how to get that going. All right, Craig, can you just confirm that that's showing there?
Yeah, just loading. Looks good. Yep.
Perfect. Cool. All right. So yeah, just a brief slideshow here. We're going to talk about a few things. Obviously, I introduced myself, our company. We'll look at what Service Area 1 is and the boundaries, our winter maintenance specifications as part of our provincial contract, what kind of our typical snowplow truck configuration looks like, our staffing, give you a brief overview of what our staffing levels are, liquid anti and de-icing, so what that is and how we do that, what our winter chemical storage situations look like, talk about winter abrasive, our GPS systems, and our trucks, and what a high conspicuity panel is, motor vehicle incidents and protocols, and as well as the Malahat chain-up protocol. So moving right into it, winter A, Bs, and Cs. So this is a highway classification that the Ministry of Transportation has in our contract. Basically, every highway has a classification or a priority for a level of service through the winter. As you can see, Class A, that's our highest highway classification. So that would be routes like the Patricia Bay Highway, the Trans-Canada Highway like the Malahat, Souk Road has a A-class, so main routes. Then we get into the Bs, so those are our secondary classification. Those are going to be feeder routes off of our main highways. Cs, those are reserved for school bus routes. Also, industrial truck routes would hold C classification. And then we get into the Ds, which are our side roads. And then Es are irregularly maintained winter routes, and Fs are non-maintained routes. So that's how we basically set up our plow schedule, sanding, salting, all that kind of stuff, is we go by that classification system. Obviously, we want to make sure the highways are plowed out before we get into the feeders and then into the school bus routes and the side roads. And yeah, so our crews are well versed in each of the classifications for each of the areas. Oh, sorry, somebody's saying that they're having a problem seeing. Let's try one more time here. Looks good now, says John. Awesome. Thanks, John. Okay, I'll just jump ahead back to where we were. Okay, service area. So this is a very high level view of what our service area looks like, service area 1. So within the provincial contract, our boundaries extend as far north on the Trans-Canada Highway as Mount Sicker Road, or right where Russell Farms is, that junction. That's our northmost boundary, and then you can see how the boundary kind of encompasses the entirety of the South Island, all the way to Swartz Bay and around the entire circle route, out towards Lake Cowichan. And then those stars on the map are actually where our yard sites are. So we have 10 yard sites kind of across the whole service area, 4 on Vancouver Island, and then 1 on each of the Gulf Islands that we service: Thetis, Galliano, Maine, Saturna, Pender, and Salt Spring. And yeah, so that's just a very high level view. Within that boundary, that's kind of obviously the larger scope, but there's different road boundaries when we get into different municipalities. For example, down towards the Victoria or the Saanich Peninsula there's quite a few different municipalities that we basically service the main highways, and the municipalities look after their own roads. Next is, so this is a snippet right out of our highways maintenance agreement, the specifications for our contract. It's our patrol specifications. So patrols are basically exactly what you'd think they would be. Our crews are mandated to patrol our highway inventory at a specified interval, looking for any kind of safety defects. That comes really into play in the winter time, when we are, looking at a storm coming in, potential areas where we could be seeing some ice developing. So our crews are patrolling with vehicles and materials equipped to deal with those situations. I'll highlight the performance criteria table. So it's a response by highway classification, and you'll see that there's numbers there. Now, the ABCs are a winter specification. However, this specification goes by a summer classification. So much like in the winter, we go ABC. In the summer, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 1s and the 2s are those Class A highways. The 3s are basically our Class Bs. The 4s are Class Cs, and the 5, 6, and 7s would fall into the Class D sort of classifications. And then you can see our response time. So when we have item number C, when a weather event is forecasted, we're increasing from our at all times, 24 hours on a Class A, to 4-hour patrol frequencies. And then during a weather event, which would be a snowstorm, we're looking at like a 90-minute response time, that we're making a turnaround on the highway, doing a quick monitor. Usually they're plowing at that point in time. So then we get into the snow removal specifications. So again, you can see some more performance criteria tables. This is now a winter specific specification. So we've got those letters at the top now of each one of those tables, the A, B, C, D, and E. You'll see for remove winter accumulations from travel lanes, 1 lane in each direction. So 4 centimeters is our maximum winter accumulation level. So we're trying to keep the snow levels under that 4 centimeters at all times, for 1 lane in each direction. And then we have secondary lanes, which can get up to 8 centimeters. Obviously, our goal is to keep it under that. And you can see how that kind of trickles down to the Bs. You have a little higher accumulation, Cs even more so. And we don't usually see second lanes on the Cs. That's why it's a non-applicable. And then D class roads at 15 centimeters. E class, again, those are those irregularly maintained winter routes. Then we get down into the second table. So this speaks to removing slush or broken compact from the traveled lanes. This is all lanes, including brake checks, chain up-off areas, and any other vehicle accessible portions within the right-of-way. So we have a timed response for that. 90 minutes on an A, 2 hours on a B, 6 hours on a C. Then in the third table, it talks about bare lanes when the pavement temperature is -9 or warmer. This was a new spec introduced into the 2018-2019 round of contracts with the province. I would say we've been successful in the last 5 years of the contract. I can't think of a time when, through our own monitoring, as well as the Ministry of Transportation monitoring, that we were far outside of the specification. And on Vancouver Island, as everyone knows, we don't see -9 very often. So basically, this spec applies to us for every snowstorm. When we're cleaning up, we're looking to get to that bare lanes within 24 hours on the Class A, 36 hours on the Class B, and 48 hours on our Class C highways. Anti-icing and de-icing specifications. So this is another snippet right out of our highways maintenance agreement with the province. Basically, what we're speaking to here is proactivity. We're looking to deploy resources in advance of a forecast or anticipated weather event to make sure that we're pre-treating the highways. And that would be through the use of brine, sand, salt, really trying to prevent ice from developing in the first place, so that we don't also get compact snow as a result. You'll see the second portion here, deploying resources in advance of the forecasted weather event, pre-treating Class A and Class B traveled lanes with anti-icing materials. So that would be the brine applications that you often see throughout the winter. This slide is just a quick tour of what our plow trucks look like. So on the front, you can see that we have a mount for our front plow. Abreast the passenger side there, you can see a wing plow. So that one actually clears an extra half lane aside to our truck. Here's a side view of it. Underneath the box here, you can see a white tank. So that would actually hold liquid brine. When we get into a snowstorm, what we can do is we can actually apply liquid brine directly to our crystal salt. It helps activate the salt quicker. When you apply dry salt to a road surface, it tends to want to just sit there until it actually collects some water and becomes a liquid brine on the road, dissolving and kind of activating. So by applying it right out of the truck, we're just increasing that response time on that salt and making sure that it's kind of quote unquote melting the ice off the road a little quicker. Right in the middle of the truck, you'll see what our scraper or underbody plow. So that's really to do a cleanup pass after our front plow. Our front plow doesn't make direct contact with the pavement. It kind of hovers off the pavement a couple centimeters, and then that scraper plow is the one that's cleaning up that pavement surface, scraping all the compact ice or snow right off and clearing it to the side of the truck. Here's a view of the rear of the truck. So these are the high conspicuity panels I was talking about. You can see there's lights all the way around that checker panel, as well as on the top. We have the airfoil, and it's got some flashing rotos there as well. It's for driver safety, making sure we're really visible out there, as well as public safety. So, just a reminder that when you see those, to keep back and let them do their job. There's another view from the side and kind of a better view of the wing plow there. Then you get a look inside of the cab of the truck. So Emcon services, we use some of the kind of leading tech in the industry when it comes to plow controllers. You can see that joystick kind of in the middle of the truck there with the colored buttons. That operates all of the functions for all of that equipment that I kind of went through on the truck. You'd be able to select the pre-wet for that brine, applying it right to your salt. It's got your spreader controller, so it controls what the salt application going out of the box. Each one of the plows is one of those buttons, and then a direction on the joystick actually will raise or lower, or sometimes the plow can swing left to right if we have a directional plow on there. It's really cool stuff. It's for ease of the operators, ergonomically, it's easier to use, as well as just high tech, keeping us on top of things. Winter staffing. So this is just a really basic chart kind of explaining what we do. We provide 24/7 coverage. We have staff out there all the time monitoring the road conditions in the winter. We do that by staggering our coverage, our shifts, so that we can make sure that when we do get into a snowstorm, we can do a little bit of overtime and make sure we have a really good blend of coverage and consistent coverage over 24 hours a day. Our winter shift actually starts right now, November, and then we continue that shift right until the spring, usually about March or April. And that really helps us, get the entire winter season. As I mentioned, because our scheduled shifts are consistent 7 days a week, we are able to bring in extra resources on overtime and really bolster that schedule. Anti-icing and de-icing. So we primarily use salt and salt brine on Vancouver Island. We did trial the use of calcium brine, and it's not something that we use often. We do have it available. It's usually reserved for temperatures colder than -12, so we don't see that very often on Vancouver Island. Solid road salts. So again, using that pre-wet system where we're activating the salt with the salt brine, liquid salt brine and calcium. So that's the proactive application of the salt brine on our pavement surface, preventing the snow from bonding to the pavement and creating that compact snow and ice. And it's kind of the tools in our tool belt to keep us on top of winter maintenance for our highways. This is a shot. You can see some pictures of our salt shed facility. So it's our main salt depot. It's just to talk about how our salt sheds are constructed. They basically have a giant liner underneath them with drain rock, so all of the groundwater in and around our salt sheds contained, and it doesn't leach into the environment. It's something that in British Columbia, maintenance contractors across the province, as well as the Ministry of Transportation, are really cautious and aware of how we store salt and handle salt, trying to keep our environmental impacts at a minimum. Another thing I just wanted to touch on here is how we make salt brine. So we do make our own. It's basically we create a salt bath and then pump off the liquid from that salt bath into storage tanks, which then go into our trucks that we can apply onto the road. We use digital refractometers to ensure that our salt brine is at optimal percentage, so 23.3%. That is optimal because it gives us the lowest freezing point for the salt brine before we start seeing crystallization in the liquid. So over saturation, but. And then it's just, again, what I was speaking to with the calcium salt brine mix and the calcium brine, those colder temperatures, whereas salt brine When applied to a dry road, we're seeing temperatures of about -6. That's the effective temperatures for brine, freezing point. Winter abrasive. So this is a snippet again right out of our contract. We typically use winter abrasive on, we reserve that for the steep hills, the corners, the intersections. It immediately improves traction out in a snowstorm. So we do like to use it when it's snowing rather than salt. Units, as I was speaking to with the joystick slide there and the inside of the cab, so all of our units are equipped with speed sensors. They're making sure that the application rates are consistent. So as an operator speeds up, the rate of the sand or salt application is also increasing to making sure that we have good coverage when we're out there. You can see in the table, there's kind of a technical spec on what our winter abrasive types are. So type A and type B, we primarily use type A on Vancouver Island, which is a smaller particle size. Again, this was kind of newly introduced in the 2018-2019 specifications, and it was really to reduce windshield claims. The province was trying to work with ICBC in a way to continue to provide service for winter and reduce public windshield claims. So you'll see that there's no particles, so passing percent for 12.5. There should be no particles at 12.5 millimeters, and then it kind of steps down in a gradation from there. All of our sand we have crushed and produced ourselves. We make sure that all of our product is adhering to this standard through quality control in production. Link Sealed and automated vehicle locations. So all of our winter trucks are outfitted with GPS technology. Link Sealed is the service and the system that we use. It gives us real-time information to be able to kind of deploy on the fly. We can see where our trucks are, what they're doing, how fast they're going. It also gives us a live view from the dash cams that are outfitted in our trucks. We're able to look back on historical information. So what does that mean? It means I can do a quote-unquote replay of the day. When my crew's out working through the night, I can wake up in the morning and have a look and see exactly where they did, what they achieved. That kind of shot that you see of the screen, the computer screen, the Linksfield screen with the green lines and the red lines, that tells me that they've been plowing in the red and salting for green. The Linksfield system's also integrated with several different weather satellites, the road weather information systems that are out on the highways, as well as Drive BC highway cameras. So yeah, that's been a super useful tool for us, keeping track of all of our equipment out there, and also, how the storm's impacting us. Here's a shot of our high visibility conspicuity panels. You should be able to see how they kind of operate, all the flashing lights. I can tell you in the middle of the night when you come up behind one of these, you see them from a long way off. And then I just want to talk here about our spec for motor vehicle incidents. So highway incident response, our outcome and kind of main objective here is to protect highway users from traffic-related incidents and reestablish traffic flow. That's our primary objective. That's what we're looking to do on behalf of the Ministry of Transportation. We're responding immediately to all traffic-related incidents where we're being dispatched. We're providing support to RCMP who may be in the middle of an investigation, providing traffic control, making sure that people are able to get around the site via a detour or a lane closure, whatever needs to happen. And then at the end of the scene, we're looking to make sure that the highway is clean, clear, and ready to go when traffic's ready to be released. So that's basically our purview of a highway motor vehicle incident. Malahat chain-up protocol. So this is something since 2019 that the Ministry of Transportation and Emcon Services have been working really hard. It was to establish a chain-up protocol to prevent ill-equipped commercial vehicles from traversing over the Malahat. I think in our first year of the contract, the Malahat had closed twice at least, and that was what we were finding was commercial vehicles were going over the Malahat, getting stuck, traffic backs up, our plows can't service it, and it's something that needed to be addressed. With the successful implementation of a chain-up protocol, we're working in cooperation with, again, Ministry of Transportation, CVSE, as well as our traffic control subcontractors or our own in-house crews. We're able to get those vehicles pulled off to the side, make sure they're getting their chains on their trucks or making sure they have chains on their trucks, proper tires, those sorts of things. And then they're able to safely get up and over the Malahat. I think in the last few years, with the successful implementation of this protocol, we've had minimal or no closures on the Malahat during winter storms, which has been fantastic. So, yeah. Again, thanks everybody for logging in and listening to me rattle off some of our operational points and how we do business. We'll follow up with the recorded version of the presentation so you can share it with your colleagues. You can see here there's just a general inquiry phone number, so that'll come directly to our Malahat office. If you guys have any questions, concerns during winter, that's kind of the general inquiry line. And then 24-hour emergency line, this is our 1-866-353-3136. That will get you to our 24-hour dispatch, who can immediately contact one of our crews out on the road, and they can go and attend to any sorts of winter-related or potholes or trees down, whatever the emergency may be. They'll be dispatched immediately for that. So awesome. See how I actually end this now. Where do we have? Stop sharing, maybe. There we go.
If anyone has a question, maybe click the raise hand button, or you can leave it in chat.
Oh, I see one here in chat. Has there been any discussion or push to use alternatives to salt, i.e. CMA, beet juice, etc.? Honestly, it's something that we haven't necessarily had a push. Salt's been an effective resource for us. It's something that's built into our contract. Maybe in the next round of contracts with the province, it would be something that they would be more so pushing. Thanks for the question, Murray.
Yeah, we can attach that with our email. Probably we can even put the presentation itself if you want to be able to look at the clips.
Yeah, I think that's a question that comes up every year is, what roads does Emcon actually maintain and what are the different classifications? So there is resources online, and Craig will send out a link. You'll be able to go to a website and actually see a nice Google map image of what each of the roads are. It's all color coded and really easy to follow. I see one in the chat. Does Modi dictate your road maintenance classes, and is there any flexibility there? Yes, the road classifications are from the Ministry of Transportation. That's built into our contract. Certainly, if there's a good reason why a road needs to be upgraded, that would be a decision that needs to be handled through the Ministry of Transportation. So I would recommend reaching out to our local office and stating your case. Thanks for the question, Chris.
Got one from Ben that says, what is your plow and brine practices on interchanges and municipal boundaries?
Yeah, that's a great question. So all of our interchanges, basically, an off-ramp will go so far onto a municipal road. We do just kind of carry on. It's usually, I think within the right-of-way is about within 40 feet of the end of the off-ramp, and then we plow up and turn around and carry on with the rest of ours. We make sure we try and carry windrows as far as we can off the road so that it's safe. But our mandate is to make sure that we're looking after the highways around the interchanges and on and off ramps. Thanks for the question, Ben.
Any other questions before we finish up, anyone? Oh, awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Marie. Yeah, again, we'll have all of our contact information in the video send out. So if somebody thinks of a question after, you're more than welcome to reach out to myself or Craig. Yeah, super happy to answer any questions or concerns that anybody has. Also, we'll make sure that there's a link, and if everybody could do me a favor and fill out our survey, let me know how you found the presentation, if there was something we could improve on. Love to hear feedback from everybody on that, as well as any feedback for our own operations. It's all good. We really like to try and continually improve. So. Yeah, with that, I'll thank everybody. You have a great day, and we'll see you out there.
Thanks, everyone.